Welcome to another edition of the Fuji Guys. My name is Billy, and I'm actually here in Tokyo today with my good friend, the Australian Fuji Guys, Warwick. G'day, mate.
G'day. Oh, I've been waiting to do that for years. Yes, we're here in Tokyo, and we've been very privileged to take a look at some brand new Fujifilm products.
The X-T1 Graphite Silver Edition is just going to be one of the products that we're going to talk about, as well as a couple of two new lenses to show you guys. The obvious difference between the X-T1 Graphite Silver Edition, of course, is its body color. The top and bottom parts are colored in silver. Also, the buttons and dials are also in silver as well. And it also comes with actually an aluminum hot shoe cover, which is actually kind of neat.
And on top of that, there'll be a couple of new features. There'll be a 32 thousandth of a second silent shutter, and also a brand new film simulation mode called Classic Chrome. That'll really take you back to the 70s.
I really like the look of Classic Chrome, and I think the electronic shutter is going to be really cool. But guys, don't worry about that, because if you already own an X-T1, there will be a firmware update later on that will also provide those two new features with your camera. What's really neat about the electronic shutter is that you can actually shoot super silent up to 1/32 thousandth of a second. And this really makes this a very, very stealth looking camera.
That shutter is totally silent, not the slightest click. Perfect for shooting in very quiet locations where you don't want to disturb people.
So when you go into the menu or the setup menu, you can select from three different options, right? Mechanical, electronical, as well as mechanical and electronic. And the way that works is, of course, when you select the mechanical option, it uses actually the focal plane shutter all the way up to 1/4 thousandth of a second. When you select electronic shutter, there's no focal plane shutter that's being used, and it goes all the way up to 1/32 thousandth of a second, right? Which makes the camera very silent. And there's this hybrid mode.
Yes, where it uses both mechanical and electronic. It uses the focal plane shutter up to 4 thousandth of a second, and then basically you can select speeds beyond that up to 32 thousandth of a second, where it automatically goes into the electronic mode.
This is going to make it a great feature to, again, like I said, whether you're in a museum, in a library where, silence is very important. You can take photos with this camera, and unlike a DSLR, it doesn't have those flipping mirrors anymore.
Yeah.
And no focal plane shutter sounds as well. Even though ours is very quiet, you can now be super silent.
So if you thought the X100 was quiet, wait till you try the electronic silent shutter on here. It's totally silent.
So Warwick and I have a really neat two new products. I got the 56mm APD lens.
And I've got the brand new 50-140 f2.8 constant aperture.
That's a big lens.
It's a cool lens.
Now, the 56mm lens is the same aperture as the existing 56 f1.2. The main difference is that it offers an apodization effect, or an apodization filter inside, that gives you nicer bokeh and gives you that somewhat vignetting look like edge to the image itself. Really a cool effect. The APD stands for apodization. Unlike some of its competitor that offers this apodization, instead of using a standard neutral density filter, which actually darkens the whole image, it uses actually a gradient filter that's specially designed for this particular lens. Very, very high quality, and it really gives the center of the image, makes it very bright and very sharp. It also allows for autofocus to actually occur, and that's a nice feature with this camera. Now, with the lens, sorry. Now, the lens itself does have some additional markings, which gives it sort of the equivalency aperture range, because when using a gradient filter, it does darken up the image a little bit.
But it's a beautiful lens for a portrait photographer, and it will give you unique features that you won't find on any other type of lens of this nature.
Yeah, I really like it. I'm looking forward to actually trying this out today. What about your lens?
Well, this one, the 50-140, I mean, this really epitomizes Fujifilm's ability to make zoom lenses with prime quality. We did some testing on this yesterday, and it's just extraordinary, the image quality out of it. But then it is a completely unique design. What would you expect?
It's amazing. It looks amazing. Actually, although it looks big, it actually is much, much smaller. I think it's only 2/3 the weight.
That's right.
Of the conventional full frame equivalent lens, right?
And all the zoom is conducted inside, so it never increases in size. That's the size it is, no matter what focal length you choose.
I love that. That's great. I mean, the speed of this lens being a constant 2.8, this is going to be, it actually, it gives you prime quality.
Yeah.
We actually talked to the Fujinon engineers at Fuji, and I was so impressed in the type of construction materials, the glass that it uses.
Yep.
I think there's like 5 ED glass that's
Yes.
being used and 1 super ED glass. And that's sort of like fluorite glass, and that's going to give you some incredible optical characteristics that really makes, you know, any issues with aberration, whether it's chromatic or color, corrected right through the lens itself.
It's going to be a very useful lens for any professional photographer, and the size and weight is going to make it great for even amateur photographer or smaller people that can't carry heavy lenses. But
Yeah.
something else that's unique about this, obviously it's a bit larger, and Fujifilm have actually strengthened the camera mount by using a brass lens mount on the lens of this one.
That was a smart move by Fuji.
Yeah. And on top of all that, if that wasn't enough, a 5-stop image stabilizer, and it really is a 5-stop image stabilizer. It's quite possible to handhold this in very low light conditions. Just the pictures I shot yesterday, when we started looking at really fine detail, eyelashes on that very nice model
It was
yesterday.
actually very, very stunning. And when they say prime light quality in a zoom lens, oh my God, this is it's going to be a very legendary lens for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, the focusing is very fast. I think it uses 3 linear motors to
Yes.
actually move the focusing.
Triple linear
glass.
motors spaced at 120-degree intervals around the outside.
Perfect balance to the lens.
Provides
Absolutely.
more torque, so it can actually move the specially made lighter focus element system in here as well.
It's so interesting with the 23 elements that it
Yeah.
actually incorporates in that lens. You know, how good the image quality is, optically corrected from, you know, ED lenses, spherical lenses. You know, they've actually tried different various combinations so that you get edge-to-edge sharpness. And this is something that's very, very special with Fuji glass.
I don't think anyone that would use this lens would recognize just the clear quality of it. I can actually see the most amateur photographer being able to see the difference, and even the most professional photographer being able to see the difference from this. So there's going to be benefits no matter what sort of photography
Well, I'm
you're
really
into.
eager to actually use this lens right now. Why don't we take some shots with it again?
We need to find something really Japanese, something really unusual.
So that's great. You know, this 56mm APD lens is quite amazing. The quality of it, you know, with the apodization effect that it offers, really truly is a nice experience that you really have to try out.
And again, this lens still amazes me. But then, as if the super EBC coating wasn't enough, Fujifilm, I know, has done something very special and developed a new nano GI coating.
Nano GI coating, and just another acronym to learn about. But
Yeah.
really, the benefits of it is incredible. We actually looked at a cross-section of what these elements are. And basically imagine ice cream cones opposite onto
Yeah.
the lens itself. And the benefits of that really is minimizing a lot of distortions, right?
Very small ice cream cones.
Nano size, and
Yeah.
really corrects things like, you know, chromatic aberration, color aberration. There's so much types of concerns when light travels
Yeah.
through glass that, you know, this nanotechnology, nano GI coating, very, very unique to Fuji, and very, very special, making this lens, you know, image quality that can offer things, you know, like prime lenses, really.
Well, it's going to cut down a lot of the reflection that comes in from
The angle.
different angles.
That's right.
And it's very efficient at doing that. So obviously there's a lot of lens elements in here. The nano GI coating is able to cut down reflection that even the super EBC coating wasn't able to deal with. So this really is a superior product in every sense of the word. And it's so light.
So there you have it, 3 great products from Fujifilm, from the X-T1 Graphite Silver Edition to the XF56mm lens f1.2 APD.
And the 50-140 Super Zoom f2.8 constant.
These are great new products. I mean, if you want to learn more about these products, again, you can visit our website. You can follow us on Twitter at Fuji Guys, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channels. Until then, I'm Billy of the Fuji Guys.
And I'm Warwick of the Fuji Guys. In fact, the international Fuji Guys now.
Hey!
フォトキナにちょっと出張行かせてもらうことになりまして、
おお、そうか。
メディアプレゼントとか商談とかするんで、ちょっと川原さんに教えていただきたいんですね。
うん。まあレンズとカメラどっちからやる？なかなか凝った作りをこれでして。
What are you guys doing here?
There's a new camera coming out. There's a new camera and new
ユー
lenses.
ザーの声を聞いて作ってるからね。
So,
trying to get
そうそう、レンズがね。
so but they're talking right now. What should we do? Let's wait.
レンズからお願いします。
オッケー。じゃあレンズの話してみようか。
はい、お願いします。まあそんなこんなでフォトキナの親戚の成功を祈るばかりですね。あとは。
オッケー。じゃあもう一回復習してみようか。
もう一回ですか。わかりました。戻りましょう。あれ？
カメラは？
盗まれてますよ。
カメラないじゃないか。
会長問題ですよこれは。
大変だこりゃ。